experience having worked in the US. But also one of my areas of focus is international content and content outside of the US, primarily Latin America and Spain, but also focusing on other countries in Europe. So looking for writers and directors who work in television in those countries as well. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. So I've been at UTA for about 6 years. I've been an agent for about 2.5. And the way it works in the US is you start in the mailroom and you literally deliver mail for a couple of months before a desk opens up and you get the opportunity to work for an agent as an assistant. Usually you work as an assistant for 2 to 3 years, usually for 2 to 3 different agents, usually within a specific department that you want to be working in. And after that, if you feel that that's the right job for you, if they feel that you can do the job, you get promoted and become an agent. So that's a little bit the path. And I chose to work in television because I grew up watching a lot of television, and I grew up in Bosnia and in Serbia, and watching American movies and shows kind of helped me understand American culture in a way, and I also realized how powerful it can be in terms of spreading ideas and messages, and I just think that having stories and people in your home on your screen is something that's very powerful. So I wanted to be a part of that, and the reason why I shifted my focus a little bit towards international content because I feel like now is the time where tables have turned a little bit, and finally shows that are not in English are taking over the world. And obviously Casa de Papel is a big example, but other shows on Netflix like Dark, even shows like My Brilliant Friend, the Italian show that was just on HBO in the US. So there are shows that are not necessarily in English, but people are watching them in the US and around the world, and they're having a bigger impact now, probably more than ever. So that's something that I find very interesting and inspiring as well, especially for someone who doesn't come from America. In terms of what agents do, obviously we represent talent. I specifically work with writers and directors, and our job is to find those people jobs and help push their projects forward. The way I specifically look for talent, obviously, coming to places like this and looking at people's work, whether it's shorts or movies. There is obviously a small television section to this festival as well, so if people have ideas for pilots, that's something that is more interesting to me. But still, even, there are interesting filmmakers who have done movies but want to switch over to television or have ideas for television. So if we feel like there's something interesting there, we tend to work with those people as well. A lot of times, we get new clients through existing clients' referrals, so clients that we already represent will recommend up-and-coming or young writers that they feel could break through or have potential, and obviously that's something that we value a lot because those are opinions of people that we work with and whose talent and taste we trust as well. And sometimes it's executives and producers that we work with who identify someone and they put them on our radar, and then we start working with them that way as well. So there are really different ways to find talent. Again, with international content, for me, I always try to make sure that I keep track of what's going on outside the US, and in terms of foreign shows that are not necessarily on Netflix or on Amazon, all of that's usually the first place to start, just because of what these companies are and what they've become. But a lot of great television creators have started in local television, whether it's here in Mexico or in France or in Germany or wherever, and I try to track those shows down and then hear recommendations from other people, and then either reach out to those people directly. Sometimes foreign talent has agents in their home countries, so usually we try to, if that's the case, we try to be respectful and reach out to those agents first. and that's something that's kind of a part of the process. In terms of kind of the time that's right for someone to get an agent, I think it really depends on the person, and it depends on the kind of content that you've created and what you've done. I think that usually if you have a short movie that's getting a lot of attention, that is getting shown in a lot of different festivals, that's obviously more likely to get the representative's attention and have people track you. But at the same time, I think there are people who do great things without agents, and sometimes agents can just be there to kind of help them negotiate better deals or juggle different offers or things like that. And sometimes it's about just exposing talent to different buyers and making sure that everyone is aware of the talent. So that's kind of where agents can be helpful. Also, if you have multiple projects that you want to be working on, agents can give you advice in terms of what we feel is the best thing to focus on, given what's in the marketplace, given the ideas that we know are being pitched around or being sold. Maybe at a given moment, one story is more likely to be sold or be developed as opposed to another one. So that's another piece of what being an agent is, and what we try to do in terms of helping our clients. So that's a little bit about what being an agent is. I'm sure you all have a lot of questions, and we don't necessarily have a moderator here per se, but I don't know if now is the time to open it to Q&A or if it's too early, but I'm happy to answer any questions you guys may.
What are you looking for here at Oaxaca?
For those who didn't hear, the question is what I'm looking for here in Oaxaca. I'm looking for talent, obviously writers and directors, specifically people who either have worked in television or want to work in television. It doesn't have to, you don't need to have TV experience, but if you have an original idea for television, and it doesn't matter what language it's in, I'm interested in hearing it and seeing if there's any visuals to show as well.